Hi everyone, welcome to the PEB channel. I'm Joel Pettit, and today I want to talk to you about Soldier Recovery Units, or SRUs. More broadly, I want to talk to you about the Army Recovery Care Program, or ARCP, which is encapsulated in AR 40-58, which of course is linked below. I've had a litany of cases lately where soldiers have found themselves falling off orders, even though they require somewhat intense treatment and ongoing treatment for a complex medical issue, and yet they weren't placed in SRUs. How does this happen? A soldier gets injured, they're on active duty orders. The command asks the soldier, hey, we can keep you on orders, put you in an SRU, or we can give you RCMC or RM2 orders. RCMC are usually for National Guardsmen, RM2 are for Army Reservists. Either way, the point is, how do they sell it? Well, these two types of orders, they're remote. You still can go to MTFs, but you can go to civilian providers. You still have a case manager that helps you deal with everything and organize everything. It takes care of medical bills, and you have monitoring of your condition. And if you do require to go into the Army DES, the Disability Evaluation System, you can do that through those orders. Yes and no. That is not wholly true. The best way to understand those orders is actually to contrast it to SRU. The SRU, Soldier Recovery Unit, is for complex cases, whereas with RCMC and RM2 orders, the time limit, and there is one, is 179 days. So that means if your condition requires more than 179 days of treatment where you have to go to MTFs and things like that, well, I'm sorry, but it's going to get infinitely harder in order for you to get those benefits and keep going to treatment when you fall off orders. This is where I beg soldiers that if they're talking to me before they go into one of these, let's say, orders of this unit, I always ask them, what has your doctor said? What have they said about your recovery time? How complex is it? Would you benefit from medical case management or from close monitoring for mental and behavioral health, career transition services, all these things that the SRU offers that the RCMC and RM2 orders really don't. And why don't they? It's not because they're just mean and they're creating a trap for soldiers. It's simply the SRU is meant for soldiers who are unlikely to be found fit for continued duty. The other two types of orders, those are for soldiers they think have a higher likelihood or high likelihood of being found fit and returning to duty. And this is where it gets a little complicated, but not really, because pretty much anyone in the ARCP is going to have a 3 profile. I say 3 because we all know there's a difference between P3, permanent, and T3, temporary. The reason this is a big deal is because if a soldier on RCMC or RM2 orders requires, after being on T3 profile for long enough, a P3 profile, meaning you will be referred into the Army DES, guess what? You are not necessarily brought back on orders. Unless you're hospitalized, there are very odd other circumstances, but usually, unless you're hospitalized, you are not brought back on orders. That is not the way it works. So sadly, everyone in the SRU, generally speaking, is assumed to need a P3 profile eventually and will be processed through the DES. Not everyone in RCMC or RM2. It's the exact opposite assumption. So if you're a soldier and you get injured and you're deciding between SRU or RCMC and RM2, and you talk to your doctor and your doctor's saying, hey, this is how long the treatment's going to be. If it's over 179 days, SRU, because you don't want to fall off orders because you're supposed to be the SRU. Also, if the likelihood of your injury healing, and even if it heals, you being able to reasonably perform the duties of your office grade rank or MOS, if that's not likely going to happen? Again, the SRU is the exact place that's structured for you. You don't want to get RCMC orders or RM2 orders just because they're remote, just because you can go home and see your civilian provider. I know a lot of people will say, well, home's more comfortable. I know my civilian provider. It's going to be better care. Well, okay, that's fine. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not one to give that the advice. But what I am saying is the Army Recovery Care Program is structured the way it is because when you hit those 179 days, they expect that you will be going back to duty or close. They don't have that time limit on SRUs because they don't expect it. So if you've been injured, the first thing you should be asking your doctor is, well, doc, is it likely that even if this heals, rule out a miracle, if this heals, do you think I'll be fit to do my job, do my MOS? The doctor may not know. You say, hey, this is what the PFT is, the CFT. These are my duties that I regularly do day in, day out. What do you think? If that's the best guidance you can get, ask for it. Because when you're in the SRU and you go through the DES, you're on orders. When you're not, you drop off those orders. Even if you do somehow get referred into the DES process, you're not on orders. So those CMP exams, any meeting with your PEBLO, if it's not remote, if it's at an MTF somewhere and you have to drive for God knows how many hours, well, they're gonna have to cut you orders to do that. It's not impossible, and they have to do so. But it's laborious, and it makes the process harder. And that's the point, is that knowing what this program offers and reading AR 40-58, you'll be much better prepared to then say, okay, what strategy do I want to employ here, not to work the system, not to, get one over on the Army or the government. No, you need to understand how the program is structured so that you can get in where you fit in, because where you fit is structured in a way to give you the benefits to help you get through the process as efficiently as possible. That's all I'm saying. And a lot of soldiers don't even know about this regulation. I don't know how someone who's catastrophically injured, they don't email this to you or just hand it to you on paper and say, read this because you're going to need to know it. But they don't. So please, if you're a soldier, if you've had a serious injury, if not catastrophic injury, and you're facing these issues, give me a call, visit my website, joelpettitlaw.com, shoot me an email. I'd love to speak to you about your potential case. If this video's helped, click here to watch more. Otherwise, thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day.